The attitude problem. I would love to hear the lady's point of view on my situation. I'm a 44-year-old man in Sweden and I just found out that my wife, who's 10 years younger, has an affair. We haven't talked about it yet and my problem is that I don't know if there is a good moment to do so. I don't want to blow up my relationship during this confrontation. How do I know that she's cheating? The past few months she's been going to the gym more often and always longer, 3 to 4 hours, while in the past she went for only 1 hour. She never talks about what she does there. She used to do this in the past, and she's not even hungry when she comes home. I found this a little strange for a long time, but my wife has always been open and honest, so I gave her the benefit of the doubt. 3 days ago, I read a text message on her cell phone, by accident. Someone wrote her "I love you." She was in the bathroom at that moment. I told she had received a text message because I had seen the phone vibrating as it always does when she gets one, but didn't say her that I read the message. I was too much in shock. She picked up the cell phone and said it was a message from her brother, asking her to call her. 2 days ago, again by accident, I noticed that she took her cell phone to the toilet, which she had never done before. When she returned, I asked her if she expected a call. She got angry and asked why I'm acting like I'm Big Brother and explained that the phone company had sent a commercial text message. Yesterday she wrote an email on her computer. She clearly didn't want me to see it and quickly said she was writing a friend. I know her password and later logged in. She had deleted the sent message but forgotten to delete the concept, which was all too clear. We've been married for 9 years and like any marriage that has been lasting for so long, we've had our ups and downs, but we have a strong emotional bond and I believe I have always supported her in every possible way. Unfortunately, bonding was not so good the past 12 months. My small business is going through a difficult time and my wife has been very busy with a new study she started a year ago, and she also went through health problems. Very often we were simply too tired to sleep together, but in this respect, the past weeks were much better and she actually became more interested in bonding again. Maybe she's feeling guilty. I deeply love my wife. I have always done so. I always saw her as the most honest person I had ever met. It's actually one of the things that attracted me so much. We have a 6-year-old daughter together. She's very sensitive and we both love her very much. It breaks my heart, again, how she will feel when our marriage ends. I don't want to end our relationship just because she has an affair. I'm devastated, yet willing to proceed if she ends this affair. I have the impression that she's doing it for the bonding and the excitement. If I'm correct, her affair has no future, though I'm not 100% sure, but I think I know her lover and he's a married guy of 50 years old, who's been cheating on his wife a dozen times ever since he got married, and he has always swear he'll never leave his own family. The past 3 days I've going through hell. I tried to act as normal as I could, but whenever I had a private moment, I could only cry. Last night she hugged me like she often does, wanted me to give her a massage and was seeking other physical contact but refused bonding. To be honest, I don't know if I'm capable of bonding now. I feel so betrayed. Today started like any other day. She even sent me an email from her school for advice on a piece she's working on. I don't know how to start talking about it. I don't want to blow up everything, which is possible if I can't control my emotions. Besides, she can also get quite hysteric when she's really angry or feels hurt. But we have to come to a point that I have to confront her with the facts. And if so, what should we do? We can only try to mend things if she ends her affair. But she can be so emotional that she might just walk out of the door when I confront her. Divorce would cause a lot of trouble if that's what she wants. Not only emotionally, or because of our child, but also, financially we would be in deep trouble. My wife still has a year to study and only gets a scholarship which is too small to live on. Her lover is jobless and has no money if it's the guy I described above. I have a small business and I make just enough money to provide one household, but not two, and my revenue has gone down the past year. And together we own a house which, if we sell it, only makes enough money to pay back our mortgage, if at all, because the market isn't good right now. I'm feeling empty and desperate. I love her. The Scandinavian way is an obstacle in matters like this. In our culture, men are expected to give a woman as much freedom as possible, and though cheating is not culturally accepted, this liberal culture does make it easier. Many men are quickly accused of dominant behavior when they try to check what a woman does. And maybe I am a doormat, but when I allowed my wife to study while I worked, I basically did the same what she did for me a couple of years ago. Back then she worked and earned the family income to give me the opportunity to set up my own business, which wasn't profitable the first year. It was only reasonable to give her the chance to study, which she actually does. I've seen her grades and they are excellent. I know that R&D are the only options. Some, non-Scandinavian therapists on the net suggest that you should not put one or both options on the table right away but give it a few days rest once you have a confirmation of her infidelity. Others like you say you should do it the same day. This is one of the things where I'm stuck. I already have some evidence, but I realized that more is better, so I tried to install keylogging software, but whichever keylogger I chose, it is immediately removed by the antivirus program. And if I turn off the antivirus scan, then install the keylogger, it is kicked out once the antivirus is turned on again. I even tried elite keylogger who claim they are updated daily to pass any antivirus software, but they were removed just as easily as all the other two. Anyone here who can recommend a program that is not detected by Norton 360? A program that also enables remote keylogging from multiple machines would be even better, as my wife has a desktop and a laptop. And of course, your thoughts on my first post are also more than welcome. Like many of the people here, I'm going through some of the worst days of my life. She says she goes to the gym, but I can't believe she spends 3 hours there. She started going to the gym on her doctor's advice a few years ago. She has back problems and she really go to the gym occasionally, I'm quite certain of that, but at least once a week it takes too long to be reasonable. I don't believe her back can stand an intensive 3-hour training, but she simply claims she got stronger. Another lie, I think. Her lover lives a 30-minute drive from our home, and then staying away for 3 hours makes sense. I'm considering paying a surprise visit to the gym when it takes so long, but suppose she is there, then you need to say something that doesn't reveal you're actually spying. Some ask why I think that I know her lover. Remember, I've read a concept of an email she sent him. It doesn't make much sense here to go into detail, and it would be pretty painful too, but from what she wrote I got a picture to whom she wrote it. This man had an affair with one of my wife's friends, and that is how she met him. Now this friend of my wife is abroad for business and more or less ended her affair with the guy. I met him a few times as well, though only briefly. He's an old-style macho who proudly tells you that he doesn't even know how many women he has been to bed with. I don't have 100% certainty because I haven't seen a name or email address, just a concept of a message. But from what I read, I think I am right about the guy, and it was clear that they have a relationship that's not just friendly. To me, this message alone is evidence there is something going on, but I need to have more. Now that I know about it, I reflected my wife's behavior in recent weeks, and I realize now that she has been more nervous than usual, and this nervousness has become bigger since I asked why she checked her cell phone 2 days ago. She's uncomfortable with the situation, I think. I don't want this conversation to go out of hand because of my wife's temperament. She's not an easy person to handle and tends to get unreasonable. I don't expect it to run smoothly, of course not, but there are limits. When you blow up a marriage but have a young kid, you will still have to deal with each other for a long, long time. My daughter is my main concern here. It will be difficult enough for her when we get there. Therefore, I want to be sure that my wife cannot deny anything and that things won't become too emotional. So, I need more evidence, and I'm about to get it, and then I'll confront her and we'll see. Now I just need an opportunity to install a keylogger on her computer. Haven't made any progress in getting more evidence the past 24 hours because it's a holiday over here and my wife is at home, like I am, so I can't install anything on her computer. But tomorrow I should have the chance to put a keylogger on it. She's extremely nervous today, has headaches and feels bad without apparent reason. Almost like me, though I try to hide it. The only thing I still need is 100% certainty about her lover's identity. Otherwise, it will be difficult to check if she's still in contact with him, should she promise to end the affair. Her study makes it necessary to regularly correspond with other students, of which some are male. I don't want her to give the name of someone else and then continue to stay in contact with the real man. Hope to get this sorted out quickly. As I struggled to find the right moment to confront my wife about her infidelity, I realized that our lives had already become a battleground. The tension in our home was palpable, and our 6-year-old daughter seemed to pick up on the unease. I felt a deep sadness for her, but I knew I had to gather more evidence before I could confront my wife. I needed to be sure of her lover's identity and ensure that she could not deny her affair. It took me a few days to install a keylogger on my wife's computer without her noticing. I felt sick to my stomach as I spied on her, but I knew I had no other choice. As I read her messages, it became clear that my suspicions were correct. The man she was having an affair with was the same married man I had suspected, a notorious womanizer who had no intentions of leaving his wife. My heart sank as I read the explicit messages between them. The affair had been going on for months, and it appeared that my wife was completely smitten with him. The betrayal was more than I could bear. I felt nauseous, and my mind raced with a million questions. How could my wife, who I believed to be the most honest person I had ever met, betray me like this? How could she put our family at risk for a fleeting fling with a man who clearly didn't care about her? As I continued to monitor their conversations, I realized that their relationship wasn't just about bonding. My wife was emotionally invested in him. This realization made the betrayal even more painful. The man she was seeing seemed to have a strong hold over her, and it was clear that she wasn't going to end the affair on her own. I knew I couldn't keep living like this, so I decided to confront my wife. One evening, when our daughter was asleep, I asked her to sit down with me in the living room. I began the conversation as calmly as I could, telling her that I had discovered her affair and knew who she was seeing. Her initial reaction was one of shock and anger. She demanded to know how I had found out and accused me of invading her privacy. The conversation quickly spiraled out of control, with both of us raising our voices and lashing out at each other. It was a heated confrontation, filled with tears and accusations. As the hours wore on, we began to talk more rationally about the situation. My wife admitted that she had been unhappy in our marriage but insisted that she still loved me. She claimed that the affair had been a way to escape from the pressures of our lives, including her studies and my struggling business. I couldn't believe that she was trying to justify her actions, but at the same time, I knew that our marriage had been far from perfect. In the days that followed, I couldn't shake the desire for revenge. I felt that my wife's lover needed to be held accountable for his role in our crumbling marriage. I decided to confront him, but not before gathering evidence of his infidelity. I took screenshots of their explicit conversations and saved them on my phone, intending to share them with his wife. I went to his house, my heart pounding in my chest as I rang the doorbell. When he opened the door, I could see the shock on his face as he recognized me. Before he could say anything, I shoved the printouts of their conversations into his hands and told him that his wife would be receiving copies as well. His face turned pale, and he stammered out an apology. I didn't care for his apologies, though. I wanted him to feel the same pain and humiliation that I felt. I left him standing there, his life about to fall apart just as mine had. Later that day, I sent the evidence of their affair to his wife. Though it was an act of revenge, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief knowing that I had exposed his lies. My only hope was that she, too, would find the strength to confront him and protect herself from his deceit. In the weeks that followed the confrontation, my wife and I struggled to find a way to heal our marriage. We decided to attend couples therapy in an attempt to rebuild trust and communication. It was a difficult process, filled with raw emotions and painful revelations. Our therapist encouraged us to be honest with each other about our needs and expectations, and to address the issues that had led to the affair in the first place. As we began to work through our problems, it became clear that both of us were at fault for the state of our marriage. I had been so consumed with my business that I had neglected my wife's emotional needs, and she had sought solace in the arms of another man instead of confronting me about her unhappiness. We both recognized that we had made mistakes, and we were determined to learn from them and move forward. Despite our best efforts in therapy, it became increasingly evident that the damage caused by the affair was too great to overcome. The trust between us had been shattered, and neither of us could truly forgive the other for our respective betrayals. We decided that the best course of action for both ourselves and our daughter was to divorce amicably. The process of divorce was a long and arduous one, filled with legal battles and financial negotiations. We both struggled to maintain our composure and to protect our daughter from the emotional turmoil that surrounded us. We were forced to sell our home, splitting the proceeds to pay off our mortgage and other debts. The financial strain was immense, but we were determined to provide a stable environment for our daughter, despite the challenges we faced. As we settled into our new lives, we found ways to adapt and grow independently. My wife continued her studies, working part-time to support herself and our daughter during her time with her. I focused on rebuilding my business, pouring my energy into making it successful once more. We both eventually found new partners and began to rebuild our lives. It was a long and painful journey, but we had learned valuable lessons about love, trust, and communication. We remained committed to co-parenting our daughter, ensuring that she remained our top priority. In the end, we both found happiness in our separate lives. Our marriage may have been irreparably damaged by the affair and the subsequent divorce, but we had found a way to move forward and grow from the experience. We had been given a second chance at love and happiness, and we were determined to make the most of it. Years later, as our daughter grew into a strong, independent young woman, we looked back on our tumultuous past with a sense of understanding and acceptance. We had both made mistakes, but we had also learned from them and grown as individuals. Our daughter had been our guiding light through the darkest times, and we were proud of the life we had built for her despite the challenges we faced. She had been our reason for fighting through the pain, and she remained our greatest source of pride and joy. The affair, the confrontation, the revenge, and the divorce, all of these events had shaped our lives in profound ways. But in the end, they had led us to where we were meant to be, stronger and wiser than before. As time went on, I occasionally found myself reflecting on the events that had transpired. The affair, though devastating, had forced me to take a long, hard look at myself and the life I had built. I realized that I had been so focused on my business that I had neglected my own happiness and that of my family. I learned the importance of balance and prioritizing my relationships over my work. It was a difficult lesson, but one that had ultimately led me to a happier and more fulfilling life. My ex-wife, too, had found a new sense of self and purpose in the wake of our divorce. She had dedicated herself to her studies, eventually earning her degree and pursuing a successful career. She had found a new partner who supported and loved her, and together they had built a happy life. Despite the pain and turmoil of our past, my ex-wife and I remained committed to providing a stable and loving environment for our daughter. We worked together to navigate the challenges of co-parenting, attending school events, and sharing in her accomplishments. Our daughter, in turn, grew up knowing that she was loved and supported by both of her parents, even though they were no longer together. She learned the importance of resilience and adaptability, and she approached her own relationships with a sense of wisdom and understanding that belied her years. As my ex-wife and I each built our new lives, we found a sense of peace and closure. We had been through a firestorm of emotion and challenges, but we had emerged stronger and wiser for the experience. We had found new love and happiness, and we were grateful for the chance to start anew. As the years passed, my ex-wife and I continued to maintain a cordial and respectful relationship, focused on our shared love for our daughter. We had both moved on and built new lives, but we were forever connected by our shared past and our commitment to our child. Through all the pain, heartache, and growth, we had found a way to forge a new path. Our lives had been forever altered by the affair, the confrontation, the revenge, and the divorce. But in the end, we had each found our way to happiness and fulfillment. Our story is a testament to the power of resilience, self-discovery, and the unwavering love of a parent for their child. And though our marriage had not survived, the lessons we learned from our experiences would remain with us forever, guiding us as we continued on our separate journeys through life. In the end, the affair and the subsequent events had taught us the importance of self-reflection, honesty, and the power of forgiveness. It had shown us that even in the darkest of times, there is always the possibility of growth, healing, and a brighter future. And for that, we were eternally grateful. My comment: like other stories, we realize affairs breaks up relationships and cause resentment from both parties. It's truly terrible. Story 2. So, my wife got home at 9:45 p.m. last Wednesday drunk. Wednesday is her day off. She's been good telling me when she is going to be late. Not this time. She called me in the afternoon, I guess to tell me she was going to be late, but I wasn't at my desk and didn't notice her call on my cell. At 9:45 she gets home drunk. She denies it, but please, anyone can tell. I ask her where she was and that she cannot be drinking. She doesn't want to tell me where she was and that she will drink whenever she wants to. When I looked at her phone that day, I could tell she was at her friend's place, and the next day she confirmed it was her friend's birthday. It's on the other side of the city. I don't know how she managed the drive without getting stopped. I grab her phone to find out where she has been. She grabs mine and calls the cops. The cops talk to her for about 2 minutes, then call me over and talk to me for about 20. 1 female and 4 male cops basically tell me to really figure out what I want to do. And just by them being there, I have 1 foot in jail and a criminal record. If my wife goes to the yard drunk, falls, and calls them, I'm going to jail. The female cop tells me, thank God you guys don't have kids. Let her sleep it off, stay in separate rooms, and keep your door locked. Another one tells me sometimes what we want is not for the best. I recount some of the stuff that's happened to me. How when she loses control, I just grab her and hold her. The cops like, yay, how's that working out for you? They were really frank and really opened my eyes. I appreciate the time they took. Since then, we've been sleeping in separate rooms. I keep my door locked. One night she knocked on the door asking to let her and that she's never going to drink again. I didn't open. I've been avoiding her as much as possible, but last night I forgot to lock the door. She came in and slept on her side of the bed. Today she was talking loudly with her mom about how she wishes I would stop acting this way. To her it's like nothing happened and I'm eventually going to go back to normal. It's just been really awkward as we even had to go grocery shopping together. Questions. I'm seeing an attorney this week. Anyone ever hear of Divorce Without War? They are a franchise of mediation attorneys. How do people handle this weird separate but living together mess? I'm not sure about divorce, but I do want to talk with an attorney and get the papers. Is it how it works? The attorney gives you divorce papers that you then give to your spouse to sign. Is there an expiration on these papers? Should I say, look, I'm going to give you one more chance, but if you don't shape up, I'm going to file these. Speaking to the lawyer on Thursday. How do I go about this though? Do I go cloak and dagger and just drop the papers on her lap one day? The weird part is she's cooking dinner and going on like nothing has changed. Should I just tell her everything is not okay, we have big problems here, but not let on that I'm filing? I'm definitely getting the cats out of there the day before I tell her. She already threatened she would kill them. Really, that's the only thing I care about, her damaging. Everything else can be replaced. I'll probably get divorce set if not Friday. The lawyer said it will be a little over 2,003 weeks to file the papers if she agrees to the division of assets. And that's the problem I'm currently having. All the advice I've gotten is don't let her know what is happening until you have the papers in your hand. Then give them to her and leave the house for a week. What to do? Let her know beforehand or keep it quiet until the week of. I've been keeping a low profile, trying not to argue and trying to act normal. We've basically been living separately but sleeping in the same bed. So weird. This morning she tried to give me a goodbye kiss before she left to work. I didn't let her. She knows I'm still upset about the police incident. She actually said last night that she couldn't believe I'm still mad about that. She has a habit of telling me that all the bad things she's done are in the past and to stop living in the past and to live in the now. She also called me in the afternoon about making plans for July the 4th weekend. I told her I have to work that Sunday, which is the truth, thank God, because I'm a horrible liar. We actually talked about divorce the day after the police came. That day she said we can come to an agreement and handle the divorce ourselves downtown. I didn't like this idea, but a couple of days later I brought it up again and she said, you get a lawyer and I get a lawyer and you have to pay for my lawyer. That sounded crazy, but I checked at work and it's true. I could actually be on the hook for her lawyer. She has been through a divorce before, so that is how she probably knows. Questions. How to keep from going back to normal while not letting on what I'm doing. I don't want to hold her hand while we walk or give each other goodbye kisses in the morning. I feel guilty enough as it is that I'm going to surprise her. It doesn't seem right to do a fake normal then drop this on her. Or should I just tell her we are not going back to normal? This is the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm not going to forgive you for this and we need to move on. It would make me feel better to give her a fair warning so she can get herself together and save money. I'll talk with the lawyer later today and actually retain her. Maybe she can start the process and not withdraw until everything is almost done. I doubt it. I really do not want to move out. We rent the house where we live now. I started renting before marrying her and only my name is on the lease. I have to talk to the lawyer about how much time to give her to find a place. Maybe I live in a hotel during this time, which sucks. Also, afraid she would trash the place during this time, like the walls or the windows or anything that would have me owe damages to the owners. She quit her job yesterday. Don't know yet how this will affect everything. I haven't filed yet as I was advised to take care of a big debt before filing, so I've been negotiating and finally came to an agreement last week. I've been waiting for the paperwork to get to me then wait for the check to clear before filing. I'd rather use that money for my own benefit than give up half. Hopefully this will all happen within 2 weeks. I have not mentioned anything about divorce. We actually talked about it once since my first post and she gave me a number she would be happy with if we do divorce, but that she didn't want to go that far. But I just don't see a way around that. She says she will never do it again, but she's already done it twice. Same thing with the attacks. She said she would never do it again, but it's happened multiple times since then. I honestly feel like she's two people, drunk wife and cool wife. Cool wife promises and drunk wife breaks them. The weird part is she goes on like everything is okay. I don't want to tip my hand, so I go along too. She gives me a peck on the lips when I leave, come home. Cook's Diner has tried to get me in the mood. I don't want to be intimate though. We sleep in the same bed, no cuddling on my part. And she wants to go out tonight. I'm not going anywhere. I'll bring up the cops and she can't believe I'm still talking about that. Her argument is she needs to call the cops. Who else is going to defend her? I wasn't attacking her, I just wanted to know where my wife was and why she came home drunk. My plan is to file in about 3 weeks and give her a check for the magic number and leave while she moves out. I have a meeting with the lawyer in 2 weeks to discuss this. Yesterday morning she came home from the gym and I had just gotten up and was at the computer in my boxers relaxing eating grapes, no VAR on me. Since it was nice out, she wanted to go somewhere for the weekend. I obviously did not want to go anywhere with her. She asks, well, what you want to do? You never want to do anything. I say nothing. You can't treat me like a criminal and expect me to want to go somewhere for the weekend. She starts raging and yelling, rips the monitor off the computer and smashes it on the desk. I'm ashamed to say I lost it. That's 4 TVs, 2 monitors, multiple canceled paid for trips that she just decided not to go to, so I lost that money with absolutely no responsibility, no repercussions. I grabbed her, lifted her up, took her to the room, threw her on the bed, opened her closet, and grabbed about 5 of her outfits. Went to the bathroom and cut the outfits up. I was just so tired of her smashing things and not taking any responsibilities or consequences. I know it was wrong and stupid. I'm just trying to document everything here. While I'm doing that, she is on the phone with the cops. I got home and he got angry because I went to the gym without him. He doesn't want me to go anywhere without him. And I surprised him watching porn on the computer. He got angry as smashing things and is threatening me with a knife. I could not believe she was lying. I still cannot believe it. I thought this was it. I'm going to jail. I locked the bedroom door, got on my knees, said a prayer, packed a bag, then waited for the cops on the front lawn. They got there with sirens blazing like they were in a car chase. 3 cars. They made me lay face down and searched me, then sit up and tell them what happened. 2 went inside to talk with my wife. They came back 10 minutes later. The lead cop told me there is something wrong with her right. I can see she has anger problems, but there is something else. They told me to get my stuff and leave, to be really careful with her. And when I come back Monday to check in at the police department first for my own safety. I'm hoping a cop can escort me home Monday as I don't want to be alone in the house with her. I'm going back on Monday, grabbing the cats and some clothes. I told my boss I have a family emergency and may not make it into work Monday and Tuesday, but I have my computer and can work from home. I'm planning on telling him the whole situation on Wednesday. I need some time to sort this out, but I'll be able to work from home. I'll be staying at my mom's house about 3 hours away. Monday, I have to talk with the lawyer and the landlord. I am not going to live under the same roof as her. Also, this problem she has is not alcohol related. This is the 3rd time recently where she has completely lost it and not had a drink. I think she has some type of disorder. She can go from raging to calm, crying to back to raging within minutes, like flipping a switch. I used to think it was the alcohol, but not anymore. I was trying to pay off a debt before filing, but now, F the money. I'd rather be living under a bridge than live with her. It's amazing how everything went downhill so fast. I started really enforcing boundaries 2 months ago, and that's when all of this mess started getting bad. Update: we've been living under the same roof. I talked to her about divorce that Monday when I got back from exile. She said she didn't want a divorce, and her attacks, late night disappearances, cop calling will stop. She even had her mom talk to me on the phone. Her mom said give her one more chance. I like her mom, she's in her late 70s and very smart with advice. I'm not taking it this time tough. My heart wants to believe but my gut says don't. I secretly went to the courthouse the next day to get the process started. I've been filling out paperwork since, but now we have to go as a couple on Thursday. I let her know this past Sunday that everything was ready and she needs to sign. We had an argument but that died after about 1 hour. Every time we've had a big blow-up, she always told me this is an easy fix, just give me meds and everything is solved. So, I did. It's all in the paperwork. She seemed surprised I actually went ahead and did it. As long as we're in agreement, this should move pretty fast. She's been extra nice since that day I talked with her mom. I think she thought I would not follow through on my threats like I've done in the past and everything would go back to normal. As much as I would like to give her another chance, I know deep down inside it's only a matter of time before she goes back to her old ways. I keep thinking just one more chance, or I remember how much being single sucked or going out to meet people sucked. It seems like I'm about to take 10 steps back to be where I was 5 years ago. It's just so much more comfortable to say, okay, one more chance. Let's watch TV. What's for dinner? Let's go out. I know what I'm the right thing doing is to do, but it still sucks. My wife is telling me she won't sign the divorce until the funds clear in her account. I've asked the lawyer and she say don't pay her as the divorce will still go through, just take longer. Anyone been through something like this? It's like the chicken and the egg. She won't sign until the funds are clear and I won't give the check until she signs. I'm obviously going to do what my lawyer says and not pay her. Just curious if anyone has been through something like this and how it played out. Final update, a year later. Divorce became final last week. One of the things she was an expert at was having me cut ties with my friends. I had a very nice mix of girls and guys I would hang out with before we got married. The girls I could understand her being upset with, but later the guys started bothering her. Long story short, I now find myself alone with no one to talk to about what I'm going through. Letting her isolate me is one of my biggest regrets. This is my second divorce. My first was in 2010. I was devastated and found a divorce support group and a church which were lifesavers. I made a lot of really good friends, guys and girls, that helped me get through it. One of the girls became a very close friend of mine and in 2012 told me she wanted to be more than friends, but I was already on my second date with my future wife. Me and the girl haven't talked in about 3 years. Now I am wishing I had someone to talk to and I keep thinking of this support group. The girl is now the group leader and I heard she got married early this year. I will be embarrassed to show up to the group again, but I'm willing to swallow my pride because I think it will be good for me. The dilemma is, how will she receive me? Any thoughts? She doesn't know I got married, but she's a smart girl. It will take her 2 minutes to figure out what's up. The next closest group is too far for me. Like comment, life is about learning from your mistakes. Sometimes it takes a few mistakes to learn. Don't be hard on yourself. You should be able to laugh about it. Half the adults have been divorced, the other half are miserable. I'm getting married a second time. Hopefully this is it for me. Just remember, you were never scared to be wrong about love a second time. You could say the same for a third time, but take it slower next time.